This video is sponsored by Tokyo Treat and Sakurako. Alright, so we might be coming to the final sequence, at least in the battle between Izuku and All For One here, because at the end of the chapter we see Izuku running after All For One, wearing an All Might shirt, which I guess is symbolic for everything coming full circle here. And for what Izuku is able to do is still unsure, because he says that he only has embers left. Embers, similar to what All Might had at the end of the Camino arc when he was taking on All For One back in season 3. And we'll get into the possibilities of what that could mean and what it could lead to for Izuku ultimately. But coming off of the end of the previous chapter, we saw that Eri was able to give Aizawa her horn. She broke it off her head. And I guess you can kind of use it like the bow and arrow in JoJo's, where if you pierce somebody with it, they get the ability. Because Aizawa pierces Deku with her horn and it rewinds Izuku back to heal his arms, because we saw coming out of his dream sequence vestige world memory thing with All For One and Shigaraki, he had lost his arms to decay, and that happened in the real world as well. But now, being pierced with Eri's horn, he got the rewind quirk to take him back a couple minutes. Now the couple minutes was only able to rewind his arms, so now his arms are back, but he still maintained all of the damage that he received, and he doesn't have the one for all quirk factor. So he is essentially almost quirkless at this point, aside from having the quote unquote embers left. And of course that also means that he no longer has the vestiges. I think the vestiges are completely gone at this point, since we saw them sacrificing themselves, forcibly going into Shigaraki's All For One quirk factor in order to break through to his consciousness. So they're gone. But coming into this chapter, before All For One was able to completely take out Izuku, who was defenseless essentially at this point, we have a full-blown Avengers Assembled moment. I know that we had this at the beginning of this arc, almost 2 years ago at this point, where the portals had opened after we saw that Monoma was siphoning Kurogiri's quirk. But now it's kind of I guess Kurogiri / Shirakumo willingly doing the portals. We still don't know what's fully going on with Kurogiri / Shirakumo at this point, because it just cut to Aizawa coming through the portal, but they were able to break through to him in some way, Aizawa and Present Mike, but we didn't get to fully see Kurogiri Shirakumo, I don't know, communicating. Maybe it'll come back, but like I said, the full-blown Avengers Assembled moment here, except instead of saying Avengers Assembled, it's we are here. Everyone's saying All Might's iconic phrase, and we are here is just pretty much all of Class 1A with a bunch of other heroes as well, some 1B, some pro heroes, and this is awesome because it's much needed. I said this before in my spoilers review, but it's a shame that a lot of these characters, if not most of them, kind of got neglected in the latter portion of this series, because it kind of just delved into Izuku with the vestiges getting stronger, and it just became, All For One versus One For All, instead of My Hero Academia, the series that we fell in love with. So with that, a lot of characters kind of got neglected along with their development and any kind of future prospects that we had for them, but not everyone, of course. We did have the main characters who had storylines set up for the very beginning, such as Toga, Shoto, Uraraka, for example, and also Shoji had his big moment with Spinner, but everyone else, didn't really get too much except being a part of a much bigger battle than just something, singular for them. But first, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Tokyo Treat and Sakurako. Tokyo Treat is a monthly pop Japanese snack subscription box where you'll get up to 20 of exclusive limited edition and seasonal flavored Japanese snacks, including Japanese instant ramen and drinks that are only available in Japan for a limited time. While Sakurako is a monthly Japanese artisan snack box that supports local Japanese snack makers, and each box comes with 20 traditional, authentic, and artisan Japanese snacks, including Japanese tea and a special Japanese tableware. They also come with these great booklets that give you information on all the snacks in the box, as well as Japan and its culture. For Tokyo Treat, this month's box is Ninja Snack Venture. Adventure into Japan's most elusive and mysterious world of ninjas. This month's Tokyo Treat Box is packed full of sneaky surprises of savory and sweet ninja-inspired treats. Explore the thrilling history and hidden flavors only found in this month's box. For Sakurako, this month's box is Flavors of Hakone. This month, Sakurako partners with the Kanagawa Prefectural Government for a limited edition, specially designed box inspired by the tranquil lake shores and therapeutic waters of Hakone. We invite you to discover Kanagawa's breathtaking natural beauty and indulge in authentic and local flavors that reflect the region's rich culinary heritage. And this month's tableware item is the marquetry plate. So I know you were definitely eyeing that katana candy sword, so let's try it out. And it also comes with these pretty cool shurikens, and the candy gum inside is pretty good. It has like a nice citrusy flavor. So I also had to try the spicy ramen noodles. These are super flavorful. I was really excited for these, and they're also inspired by Korean style ramen, which really kicked up the flavor. Then I tried the endo pea chips. These have tons of umami in them and pack a punch of pea protein as well. And then of course the special Japanese Kit Kats that we get every month with Sakurako, and this month it's chocolate orange. As always, they are divine. Some of the best candy I've ever had in my life. Really need to try these yourself. So we always have to try the tea that we get with the Sakurako boxes because like they said, it pairs with everything in the box. And this month we're trying the Ryokucha or green tea, and it has like this really nice fresh flavor to it. It's very good. Next we tried the peanut macaroons. These are so delicious. It tastes like crunchy peanut butter but with a nice Japanese twist to them. Then I tried the Yokohama chocolate crunch. These taste even better than they look because it has a combination of rich dark chocolate and sweet white chocolate. Then I tried the 7 flavors of Arare. This was so crunchy and so flavorful. So guys, you can get your very own Tokyo Treat and Sakurako boxes by going to my link in the description for yourself or a loved one because they make great gifts. And make sure you use code Zhoniin to receive $5 off your first box. Thanks guys. And I get it, there's 21 students alone, or 20 students alone in Class 1A. So you can only really give them so much, but it's cool that they're at least coming together here in the end. Everyone joining together to take on All for One, which is essentially what was bound to happen anyway. But as for All for One, we saw that he was able to come back by taking over Shigaraki's consciousness. He actually mentions that here. He says that he himself should have been destroyed too since he was a part of Shigaraki. However, when he heard the sound of Yoichi's vestige shattering, his world lost its colors and he gave up his ambitions, and then nothing that Izuku could do could overcome that pain, which is interesting because All for One killed his brother like 100 years ago anyway. So I don't know why he would care now. I guess because he always thought that he was still alive through One for All, but now that his vestiges had died, you know, like we said, giving himself to break through the quirk factor in Shigaraki to get through that consciousness to Tenko. Now that he is like absolutely gone, like there's nothing left of Yoichi or the other vestiges. I mean, we might see them towards the end of the series. Maybe there's like one last gleam of them, possibly, because, you know, like we thought All for One was dead when Bakugo took him out, but no, he was still there lingering in the quirk factor of All for One. I guess that's how he came through to take over Shigaraki. Now, as for where Shigaraki is, I doubt he's dead. I mean, we did see that his consciousness was ostensibly killed, but obviously that can't be the case because Tenko still needs to survive. Like, that is the end goal. We've been talking about it for months, maybe even years at this point, that Tenko still needs to come through and somehow take over Shigaraki's vessel to some extent. We found out that decay, like Shigaraki's quirk, was derived from Overhaul's quirk. They kind of just took away the reconstruction aspect of it, and I said there was a possibility that Shigaraki's quirk could have like another awakening on top of the awakening that it already had, and he can like regain the reconstruction quirk and then reconstruct his body to being Tenko again. I know that there's a lot that goes into that, but there has to be some way that Tenko comes back other than just some crazy quirkery Deus Ex that just forms him back. I mean, now that Eri is out of the equation, because we thought that Eri was probably going to be involved in that, since unless you like stab her with Trigger or something, you know, the quirk boosting drug that we haven't seen in a very long time, which would be pretty useful for a bunch of characters now, but I guess it's just too powerful. And that's also why Horikoshi doesn't want to keep abusing Eri's quirk, because it just solves too many problems, like I've been saying throughout the years, even more recently. I just wish she was used more fantastically. Like, just, you know, take a few swings, have some fun with the series. It doesn't have to be so grounded in the ending here. If you are, in fact, ending the series, which it is, we're only have a couple chapters left at the point, depending on how long Horikoshi wants to ride out the post-war chapters, which, you know, if we're going off of like other battle mangas in Shonen Jump, they only give you like, you know, 2 or 3 chapters really after the big final battle is over. I mean, I would love it, of course, if we got another full arc of just post-war with whatever happens with the academia and everybody becoming pro-heroes and everything, kind of what we saw in Endeavor's vision of the future earlier on in this arc when he was going against All for One. But, you know, who's to say what's going to happen? I just don't think we're going to get too much post-war stuff, unfortunately. But anyway, coming back to the chapter, another portal is opening, and now it's Shoto and Endeavor coming through. Yes, they're joining the battle as well. We haven't seen them since they were able to defeat Dabi, mainly Shoto. We're also getting an update on the rest of their family, you know, Rei, Fuyumi, and Natsuo, and they're pretty much done, or at least Rei is, because she was getting her final moment along with the rest of the family, using like their ice quirks to be able to protect everyone from getting melted by Dabi's like final big explosion thing that he was doing. And as for Dabi, no updates on him. Don't know if he's alive or dead. I think the last time we saw him was like around chapter 391, somewhere around there. I think it was like 390 when he had like his big defeat, and he was not remorseful at all. So yeah, it doesn't seem like he might have a happy ending unless we come back to him. Same thing with Toga, or maybe all of the original villains, you know, Spinner, Shigaraki, Toga, Dabi, all of the ones who are kind of connected via being victims of circumstance as children. Maybe they all have their one final moment or something in a Vestige world or something like that. I don't know if they're all going to be able to survive, but it seems like Tenko at least will. Then we're getting essentially close to like the ending assault on All for One here, where everyone, all of the heroes that are here are pushing on him all at the same time, and he winds up doing like you know, his classic quirk mixture thing where he just uses multiple quirks and creates like appendages from them. He's done this a few times. He did it against All Might and Kamino, did it against Bakugo, and of course it didn't work out. Like, this usually doesn't work out for him, so I don't know why he keeps doing it, but I'll give him that it looks really cool this time. He looks like he's created wings. It was mentioned by the translator for the spoilers that he looks like the Gun Devil from Chainsaw Man, and he kind of does resemble that to an extent, but we could see like those spikes coming out of it. The spikes, of course, representing the first quirk that he was able to take, which was from his own mother. She had like some kind of spike quirk, which was, oddly enough, the very first quirk to ever exist. Don't expect any more info on that. That's all we know. It was All for One and Yoichi's mother who had the first quirk, and it was like a spike quirk. I don't know why she gave birth to All for One, which is the strongest quirk to ever exist, but okay, whatever. Anyway, everyone's pushing against All for One here in his big Gun Devil arm form thing, and he's fighting back. And we also see 13 there using her quirk, which is like a black hole suction quirk, really powerful. It's too bad that she wasn't utilized more in the series. I guess she's a little too overpowered because she could just kill anyone with that quirk if they're not strong enough to resist the vacuum of it. But anyway, we come to Izuku trying to get up. You know, like we said, he was rewound, but not enough for him to recover the damage that he had taken. And Aoyama is helping him back to the battle, you know, taking his hand. That's, you know, really symbolic in this series. The whole needing a helping hand, both literally and figuratively. Like, it really helped Izuku come out of his dark Deku arc once Ida put out his hand for Izuku to take, and we're seeing that happen again with Aoyama, who needed Izuku when he had his big reveal about being the Force Traitor. Now it's coming back again to where Aoyama is helping Izuku, as he was previously helped before. And Aizawa is there too, and he gives Izuku an All Might shirt. This was the shirt that was worn by like that guy also in the Dark Deku arc that was kind of like going against Izuku being there because he didn't trust him. He thought that he was like the cause of all of their problems because he was All for One's target and everything. But of course he came around to him once he found out the truth about everything and saw the light. And he gave Aizawa that special All Might shirt. as to where Izuku's putting it on now. And it looks kind of funny because, like, you know, usually in these final sequences of these series, the characters are supposed to look cool, like they have their final gear, their final suit or whatever, or they're just battle worn, which Izuku is, but he's just wearing like a t-shirt. It's kind of funny, but it's cool at the same time because, like I said, it's coming full circle. Izuku started off the series as a quirkless, you know, powerless, All Might fanboy, and he's essentially ending it the same way, because that brings us into what is he going to do here, because he's quirkless. He doesn't have One for All. He only has the embers. The embers meaning, I guess, you know, just small fragments of the power of One for All, just like how All Might had it back in Kamino, and he was able to deliver that United States of Smash with the remaining of his power to defeat All for One. Now, does that mean that's what Izuku is going to do here? Not really sure, because Izuku did use the United States of Smash before, but it was like in the third movie against the villain. I forget his name, the blue guy, Fleckturn, I think his name was. And it wasn't like the same type of United States of Smash that All Might used, where it's just like one big punch that created like a tornado. It was like a multitude of punches, actually. So I don't think it's just going to be that simple. Maybe he's going to create his own move. I said before, it could be like the World of Smash, or, you know, something like that. I don't know. Something Grand Smash. And if it's not that, then we could see a One for All Quirk awakening. And you're wondering, like, wait, is that possible? Because technically, was the awakening of One for All when he gained the vestiges? And it's like, I don't know. It's possible that that just was what inevitably was going to happen with the Quirk, you know, due to the Quirk singularity. Because the way that One for All works, with it being passed on from person to person, it kind of bypasses the whole generational aspect of it. You know, instead of having to give birth to a child and them grow up, you know, and it going on for hundreds of years, it was able to just happen by bypassing it on to person, and the Quirk evolved that way, taking a part of each user's Quirk factor and adding it to the original Quirk factor of One for All, and it eventually became as powerful as it is now. So I don't know if that's a Quirk awakening or just inevitability, but if there is some kind of Quirk awakening here, and it just somehow regenerates the Quirk factor of One for All in Izuku, and then he's able to, I don't know, just be like All Might essentially without any drawbacks, that could happen. But if it doesn't, then this means that this is Izuku's final move, and that after this he will be quirkless. And it's interesting because it goes back to what I was saying about Endeavor's vision of the future, with all of the, you know, class 1A main students grown up to essentially be like pro heroes at that point. Izuku is there, and he has like a new cape and everything. So is he just like a quirkless hero? I don't know. I mean, I could see Horikoshi ending the series with him being quirkless, you know, like I said, coming full circle. But I don't know. But let me know what you think in the comments, guys. What do you think is going to happen in this ending sequence? And do you think Shigaraki is going to come back? Do you think Tenko is? What do you think the move Izuku is going to use? Is he going to have an awakening? Let me know. And if you liked it, please give it a like. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.